At the start of the ground effect era in 2022, Ferrari were the only team who looked like they could challenge Red Bull for wins, but after 2 seasons, they seemed to fail miserably. Some not-so-good upgrade packages and strategy errors from the Italian team caused it to lose out to Mercedes. But going into 2024, Frédéric Vasseur, Ferrari's team principal, have claimed that they will completely overhaul their car and will be fighting with Red Bull's RB20 for wins. So how true is it, and what changes are they aiming for? Let's find out. At the Abu Dhabi GP, the season finale, the Italian team missed out on the P2 spot in constructors' standings by just 3 points. While they fell behind the likes of Aston Martin and Mercedes at the start of the season, some late-season upgrades related to floor edges, floor fences, mid-floor and diffuser wall brought in the Japanese GP, and wing upgrades during Hungarian and Belgian GP saw them regain some of its lost performance. With Carlos Sainz securing the only non-Red Bull win of the season in Singapore, it goes to show that they became the best of the rest of the teams during the final stage of last season. Although Ferrari has performed better than it did in the first half of the season, it was more difficult for them to maintain their position in the standings due to the inconsistency and lack of development compared to their rivals, Aston Martin and McLaren. The tyre degradation of the SF23 car was one of its main disadvantages. Despite being the fastest race car in a single lap pace, the car quickly wore out its tyres. That is one of the main problems that the engineers at the Maranello factory are attempting to solve as we approach 2024, and they have probably succeeded in doing so. The 2024 competitor from Ferrari has not yet been given a name, but like its predecessors, it will be known as SF24. Frédéric Vasseur was asked during an interview whether the new car will be an evolution or a revolution. He said, "I don't know if it is the right word. We have the same regulations now 3 years in a row. You can't massively change the situation. Again, it's tenths of a second, which means that it's 0.1 or 0.2% of performance that we are looking for. For sure, we have to do a step, and I don't underestimate this step. And it will be, revolution is your word. We are changing 95% of the components of the car. Perhaps you can consider that it's a revolution. I don't know if it will be." Italian sources claim that the highly anticipated 2024 car, codenamed Project 676, will include a revised suspension system that combines anti-dive and anti-squat technologies inspired by the RB19. It also includes a completely new aero profile and a gearbox casing that is slightly smaller to enable a bigger diffuser and future upgrades for their development path for 2024. Now, I know you might be thinking that are they really going to copy Red Bull? Let's just say they are not entirely copying the Red Bull team, rather they are taking inspiration from the best car on the grid and making their own version of it. At least that's what the team said. Fred Vasseur, the team principal, further stated about the launch date of the SF24 car, as he said, "The launch will take place on the 13th of February, the day before Valentine's Day, and then you will see the rest on the 13th. We have the test a bit before, and it's quite a challenge to put everything together. It means we had no other option. I think also some other teams are doing it on the 14th, but it's quite challenging to be ready for Bahrain." As I've previously discussed, Red Bull's anti-dive and anti-squat suspension technology was revolutionary for the 2023 campaign. Verstappen's 17-second lead over the second-place finisher in the season finale race in Abu Dhabi is indicative of their hidden pace, which is expected to continue into the upcoming season. Now let's talk about this suspension technology and its advantages, which Ferrari will probably use in their 2024 vehicle. Simply put, a pushrod system positions the rocker at the top of the chassis and pushes it when the suspension compresses via a rod connecting the rocker to the upright. The pull rod operates in the opposite manner, pulling the rocker when the suspension compresses, with the rocker attached to the bottom of the chassis. Although each system has its own benefits and drawbacks, pushrod front and pull rod rear has been the accepted configuration for Formula One vehicles since 2015. Aerodynamics is the driving force behind this universal strategy, and it is likely that this is the reason Red Bull and McLaren chose their respective strategies. The airflow coming off the front wing is directly in front of the front suspension parts, which means they have a significant impact on it as it moves towards the middle and sides of the cars. They can be repositioned and reshaped to help direct airflow where it is most needed, into the underfloor tunnels, as carefully as possible. In theory, there should be benefits to mounting the springs and dampers on the bottom of the chassis since it lifts the nose and lessens airflow blockages to the underfloor. The angle of the push-pull rods will likely determine how much air is moved outboard and retained inboard from the front wing. Apart from that, the way the Ferrari engineers should probably emulate the brilliance of RB19 is how their vehicle maintains constant ground clearance while remaining stable over the whole course. Because the pull rod at the front and the push rod at the back allow you to keep the car as level as possible. Setting up your wishbones with a pull rod configuration up front will help you minimize how far the nose drops when braking. When the car applies its brakes, its front end will lean downward. If you have ever had to use the brakes firmly while driving on a highway, you will be used to this feeling. Because they are using a pull, Red Bull is able to limit this effect by mounting its front wishbone very high on the nose cone of the RB18 and RB19. It's the other way around at the back of the car. They use a pushrod method to set up their rear wishbone fairly high on the vehicle. By doing this, the car's back end won't lift when braking. The only team using both a pull rod front and pushrod rear suspension on the grid is Red Bull. Hence, the anti-dive and anti-squat characteristics of the RB19 helps it remain stable no matter the track condition. According to Sainz's previous comments, the 2024 car is acting differently from his initial simulator runs. Additionally, Vasseur believes that Ferrari is making a good step forward and that the team should concentrate on its own advancements over the winter before waiting to see how it compares to its competitors at Bahrain's pre-season testing. He continued, "Now the expectation is that we are focused on ourselves. We are doing good step forward. But at the end, it's always a matter of comparison. You can improve by 100, but if the others are improving by 120, you will look stupid. If they are improving by 80, you will look like a mega hero. So far, the most important is to continue to push, to continue to develop, to have the drivers into the middle of the project, and they are fully involved in the development. I think that, so far, we are going in the right direction. I don't know if the others will go more or less. We will see in Bahrain. With Ferrari claiming to change 95% of their car, will it be a dominant car like the RB19, or will it falter in the 2024 season? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below and make sure to smash that like button, subscribe and turn on the bell icon to never miss another upload from us. See you in the next video.